Michael says test. Mitchieldeming says test. Tim says good evening Mike, you look focused.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back into the stream. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Oh my gosh. Got the text to speech up. That's funny. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome in. How's it going? Yeah, we got the text-to-speech going on. I found this feature on the stream thing, and it's pretty funny. I went into my closet and I dug up my old second monitor and I put it up in a vertical mode here. So now we can actually get some more real estate here to do stuff, which will be fun. So I can have a better little stream setup here. Real official. How you guys doing today? Welcome in. Text to speech is so funny. All right, everybody, welcome in. Welcome back to the stream. I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. Today is Friday, May 9th. Happy Friday to everybody. We're going to be learning and doing some more work on our project here, getting some more stuff done. And yeah, let's get right on into our learning of React.js with building our portfolio site. So I appreciate everybody being here. It's hot and sweaty.
I see you dug up a new picture frame behind you. Is that a photo of me?
I figured that we would let this guy join our stream. I think it's kind of funny. All right, let's get into this. Yeah. Okay.
Code says I got myself a early 20s HCL monitor for my second screen and I must say it helps. As says, no 2000.
Yo, how's it going? What's going on, everybody? All right, let's go get into this. Can you guys hear the text-to-speech when it says stuff? I'll have to go to my YouTube and see what it sounds like here. The second monitor is great. Let me tell you. Let me type a message here in chat. You guys hear the text-to-speech when it says stuff?
Code says yes, some lady in the background. Michael says hello, sir.
Let's see if I can hear it.
Tim says you gotta buy the premium text-to-speech. Code says lol. Code says he.
Let's see if I can hear it. That is so good. Alright, we'll let that be. Alright. Let's get into the project here. Alright, let's open up our project here. Working on the MD portfolio website. Okay. Okay, so we're working on our portfolio website right now. I'm gonna bring up my YouTube, the YouTube comment that I wanted to see here for. React full course. Yeah. Quick tip, you can have a window within the VS Code. Okay, so let's go here. Okay, we're on dev here. npm run dev. How do you restart the
As says Command or Control plus. As says will open termin and do. Tim says Mike, will there be Minecraft this evening?
Yeah, we might be able to play some Minecraft this evening.
Step into Wix Studio.
As says, oh my bad, that's what's already up.
No worry, AZ. No worry.
What's going on, everybody? It's your bro. Hope you're doing
Okay, I want to see how he. Future Pro here.
Then we have it's this defunct and that is app. Think of it, but which you can see here for app CSS. We are going to delete serve as go the to be the precede and unordered. My now.
Salakin says, Hello, I just finished my first week at my new internship.
What's going on?
The whole week was spent on the same problem. I made a big leap today, but it ran me into a new problem. Hope your coding is doing better.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
How do we
Alright, here are the
restart?
last few commands. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Such as the project name.
DevGod
the version number,
2020
just to name a
says,
few. We
LeetCode
already
was
do
super
have one
easy.
component.
Is there a LeetCode that's for today?
Salakin says is that bro code he taught me JavaScript. DevGod 2020 says, yesterday's was impossible with my brain.
The LeetCode daily, are you talking about, DevGod? Should we give it a try? This guy, 2918?
DevGod 2020 says ye. Code says that surely is bro code. DevGod 2020 says a good greedy problem for once.
You're given two arrays, numbers 1 and numbers 2, consisting of positive integers. You have to replace all the zeros in both arrays with strictly positive integers, such that the sum of the elements in both arrays becomes equal. Return the minimum sum you can obtain, or -1 if it's impossible.
Sham says, hello bro, first time to comment. I am a full stack web. I just want to say thank you because you helped me on some CS50 task. I really appreciated.
Hey Shams, how's it going? I appreciate you for coming in and leaving me a message. Thanks so much for coming in and saying what's up. How's it going?
Tim says, oh god.
Oh god, Tim is right. What are we gonna do here, Tim? Alright, so how should we approach this one? Return the minimum equal sum you can obtain, or -1 if it's impossible. So in this case, right, we can replace zeros in the following way. Replace the two zeros in numbers 1 with the values of 2 and 4.
Salakin says, wow, that problem seems difficult even for me. DevGod 2020 says, so it's basically, zeros are wildcards you can place positive integers into. DevGod 2020 says, and you want to get the arrays to equal each other. Tim
Yeah.
says at this rate I'm gonna fail out of masters. Salakin says, I can't think of a solution that isn't like N3.
So if we
As says you can use the replace all method in latest JS. DevGod 2020 says, and then you want the arrays to equal each other, and be the smallest value they can be. DevGod 2020 says replace all in JS really be for the win sometimes.
replace all in JavaScript. Really weird. You guys are awesome. Welcome in tonight. You guys are part of the crew on this Friday. Leave a like on the stream.
It's not latest.
Okay.
DevGod 2020 says Sag, Twitch streams don't have likes like YouTube streams do. Code says start doing LeetCode with JavaScript and the medium problems looks easy.
Okay, how should we go about this one,
Says,
DevGod?
oh dang, I assumed it was JS because this code had JS.
Oh no, we're gonna do this in Python. I'm pretty fluent in Python, but
Says, do you want a hint?
well, let's think about it. So I'm gonna turn off the text-to-speech real quick while I think. Okay, so if we are going through this, so my first instinct is that, right, in this first example, we're going through, this is the smaller array. So obviously when doing this loop to compare across each position in the array, this nums2 is going to be exhausted first. And so this is going to be our limiting factor basically of, is the smaller array, the sum of the smaller array potentially, no, not always, because what if you just had a bunch of 1s and then the smaller array had like 2 9s and a 0? So I guess that's not, so you do have to evaluate it at a case-by-case basis. So if you are on this value, left sum is 3, 5, 6, 11. So we're at 11 and 5, and we come across this 0. So we're at 5 for these two, 11 for these two, and we come across this 0 and this 0 here. But I feel like I need to know the starting sum. Like I need to know how many total positive integers I'm dealing with by summing the initial array up front. If you want a minimal value. If you want a minimal value, well, obviously you have to replace with 1 at the start for the smallest value, for the minimal, and then do some sort of conditional check So if we come across this, we increment the 0 until we equal the 11. So this is at 11, this is at 5. We increment this up by 2. By 3. But we wouldn't want to match at this point in time, right? Replace the 2 zeros in nums1 with the values of 2 and 4, resulting in the array of this 3, 2, 2, 1, 4. Replacing the 0 nums2 with the value of 1. So you come across this 0, so you have to throw it to a 1 because you have to give positive numbers. Right? Okay, so we can replace zeros in the following way. So while so what if we set in the first pass all values to 1? That would give us 3, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8 to 12. So then we have a difference. How would we know though? Like, how did they know to set this first 0 as a 2? Like, what gave that flag? Right, so in this example, they came across this first 0 and they indicated, okay, we need to increase by a value of 2. What gave them that knowledge? They had a 3 and a 2 to give you 5. They had a 6 and a 5 to give you a value of 11. So why does 5 and 11 throw a 2 right here? Well, the 11, right, the sum of this, the 2 and the 4 is 6, which is the difference between the 11 and the 5. Right? So you initially throw the difference onto here. So you throw a 6 onto here, you come across another 0. Right, so this is 11. This is 5. We take the difference of the current counts of the current sums of left and right. The difference favors the left array to increase. So we have to increase the 0 by the difference. So we throw the 6 onto here. So now we have 5 plus 6 is 11 and 11 here. Okay, we come across, this becomes 12. So this needs to increase. So then what made them take values off of this and throw it onto here? What do you think, DevGod? What do you think, Tim?
Kedoch says, when did you start learning Python?
About 11 months ago.
Don Chris says, wanna try Ling. Tim says, your planning stage is over, but get to coding, I'm already on line 30.
You're on line 30, Tim? What? How are you already on line 30? Tim's trolling. Okay.
Tim says, I'm on line 13. Kedoch says, what do you plan on working in Python?
Okay, so we've got 2 and 1.
2020 says, how do you get minimal values by replace the zeros? What do you do if you don't have a 0 wildcard to get one array to equal the other array? Debka 2020 says, those are the big hints.
How do you get minimal values by replacing the zeros? What do you mean by minimal values? Like, you have to replace the value with a positive.
Debka 2020 says, let's say array 1 has 3 zeros, how would you replace the 0 so that array 1 is as small as it could be?
And you have to replace with positive integers, so you would just be forced to replace with the value of 1 for those 0 wildcards, for the smallest total value. So then the sum of that, so if you take the length...
2020 says, yep, you have to replace all zeros with a value.
So then if you take the length and determine how many zeros there are, right, so this has a length of 5 with 2 zeros and a current sum of 6. So should we do it iteratively, or should we do it like just by extracting out all the information like that? Like, okay, this has a length of...
2020 says, a hidden important test case, 8, 9, you could be given test keys with no 0 wildcards included.
No 0 wildcards.
Debka 2020 says, if both arrays have at least 1 or more zeros, could you say that you can use any wild to get them equal to each other? DevGud 2020 says likewise, if an array doesn't have a 0, can we say that array is not very flexible?
Okay, yeah. So if an array has a wildcard, it can match a higher array.
DevGud 2020 says example, no wildcard equals that array sticking to its initial sum.
Yeah, so if it doesn't have a wildcard, it is stuck, right? So if it has a wildcard, if an array has a wildcard, you can make that array match pretty much any array of greater size, right?
DevGud 2020 says so example 2, 1, 4, stays as is, for a sum of 5.
Yes. Whereas this one, we can increase the 1 here, but we can't do it because we have to increase this 0.
DevGud 2020 says likewise example 2, array 1, the 2, 0, 2, 0, is stuck as 6, 2 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1.
So we say length.
DevGud 2020 says oof Twitch ads.
So if the length, n equals to the length of nums1, and m is equal to the length of nums2, let's say that we want to go ahead and, okay, m is equal to the length of nums2. While and we say I is equal to 0. We say while max of n and m is greater than I. So we'll dynamically loop over the maximum amount or the maximum length array, right? So then we'll say is it possible to make the sum of both of you? Okay, so say we have a left sum or a nums1 sum is equal to.
DevGud 2020 says that's part of the reason example 2 has to return -1, cause array 1 is 6 or more, and array 2 is stuck at 5. DevGud 2020 says so you can never get them to equal each other.
Okay, so nums2 sums 2 index I.
DevGud 2020 says, Python also has a noise sum function built in.
Yeah. So while max. So we can say while max these two. Do we want to actually do this? Because then if we try to say we'd have to say if I is less than m. And I is equal to 0. nums index I so if right here, and then if it's equal to, if num is equal to 0, then what we'll do is we'll take the value and set it equal to 1, nums 1 sum one. Okay, so if f is if the our index is less than n, meaning that we can access a value within the number of our nums 1, then we'll set that value to plus equal by 1. I don't know, dude, because you set it plus equal to 1 and then take the current sum. So no matter what, though, we're going to sum this bad boy. We say if I is less than m, if nums 2 index I is equal to 0, nums 2 index I plus equals by 1, nums 2 sum is equal to the sum of nums 1. So nums 2 at that point in time.
Tim says darn 192/636 test cases passed.
Okay, so we increase it by 1. But what would we do though? Like, I don't even know. Like, what would we actually do from here is the question. Right, so we increase that by 1. And then if you go into m, if I is less than m, meaning you can index into the list of 2, if that value is 0, increase it by 1, take the current sums. Now that we have the current sums, so we go here, we have 2, this goes in, so what if I actually just say, what if I keep track of the sum? Why do I feel like we need 2 for loops? Like a overarching loop to move our counter down and a subsidiary loop to, I don't know. Dude, how have we already been streaming for 40 minutes? feel like I just started. That's nuts. We go over, we'll increase it, take the sum. Okay, well then that's now for, this is 5. Well, if the array ends if i's
Tim says I'm thinking no while loop needed, I'm going with the for loop.
That's what I was thinking. For
Tim says Mike I'm at 634/636 I'm at the 2-yard line.
what? How are you? I feel like I'm stupid. What approach are you taking, Tim? So if you sum the initial array right off the bat, you know, this is 5 and this is 4. So you add 1. Oh, crap, boys. So if I come across a number, I have a wild card. So if I come across a number, I have array 2, 3, 2. So I have this array 3, 2, 0, 1, 0. And then I have array 6, 5, 0. Okay? The zeros are my wildcards that I can increase. So if right off the bat I take a sum, the top array is 6, the bottom array is 11. Okay? So you would want to iterate over this smaller value. So we would want to iterate over the first array. So for I in range of length of numbers 1, right, we are going to access every value so we've increased it by 1, 6. So my question is why did it not just like throw a 3 here and a 3 here. Oh, the minimum values. So you had to put a 2 here, a 1 here, and then a 1. You had to go back through and put a 2, or put another 1 on top of this guy. Then you were left with dumping all of the rest onto this end piece. Okay, so we're going to say let's do this. We want to go over the one with the greater sum, with the lesser sum, right? So let's say sum 1 is equal, so we'll say so I'm gonna write a helper function called smaller, or smaller sum right. I'm gonna say smaller sum, and what I'm gonna say this is gonna take in a list 1 and list 2. Okay. Return list 1 if list 1 if sum list 1 greater than sum list 2, else list 2. Okay, so given those two lists, it's going to return the smaller summed list. So what we're going to do is we're going to say smaller sum is equal to our smaller sum function given nums1 and nums2. We're then going to say for I in the range length smaller sum list, right? If smaller sum list index I is equal to I need to get reference of those sums. So let me actually just do this. List 1 sum is equal to the sum of list 1, and we'll do it for the sum of list 2 as well. Okay, so we get the sum of each list. For I in the range length of so we get the sum of each list. So smaller sum list is equal to list nums1 if num if list 1 sum greater than list 2. Okay. So smaller sum list, if smaller sum list index I is equal to 0, so the thing is we have to keep track of the wildcard indexes. We have to know the indexes on the next pass that were 0 after we change them. Ah, I don't know. I'm stuck. It's just getting too many loop operations that are happening. Yeah, this one's not for me. I might have to call this one here. I'm not going to work on this longer than an hour. It's a waste of my time. Alright, that's enough of that one. Couldn't do it.
Can I drop my solution?
If it's the correct way to do it, or is it correct or incorrect? Did you solve it, the last two edge cases? You're playing a following Nim game with your friend. Initially, there's a heap of stones on the table. You and your friend will alternate taking turns, and you go first. On each turn, the person whose turn it is will remove 1 to 3 stones from the heap. The one who removes the last stone is the winner. Given n, the number of stones in the heap, return true if you can win the game, assuming both you and your friend play optimally. Otherwise, return false. Play optimally. These are the possible outcomes. And all outcomes, your friend wins.
Tim says yeah, it passed in an efficient O, n plus m.
Yeah, I'm still trying to solve it. So this one sounds like a recursive approach, right? We need to find all the possibilities. Right there, you remove 1 stone. Okay, so in this one, we're going to have a helper function. So draw, given a number of stones, if n is equal to 0, we're going to return false, meaning that you lost, right? Right, so you can't draw on a 0. Else, if it's a 3 draw, return 0. Return false. So else if n is not 0, meaning there are cast stones to cast, we're going to call so n minus 1, take 1 equals to this, draw on n minus 1, take 2, or we'll say draw 1, draw 2, is equal to draw n minus 2, and draw 3 equals to draw n minus 3. Okay. If it's less than or equal to less than or equal to 0, return false. So you've gone beyond. So if it's less than 0, you've gone beyond and you return false. You can't make that valid move. So we call this recursively down. This will return values back up. And then we return how to return a bool if multiple bools are gathered, like true, true, false, resulting in a true return. Return any of the true. So this will call all the way down. Draw n minus 1, draw n minus 2, draw 3 n minus 3. Once we do that, draw 1, draw 2, draw 3. So now that we have these values, what do we want to do with them? So this will draw 1 on image 1 and then go down and then call 2, true or false. If n equals to 0, return true. Hey, Angela. Hey, mister. How's it going? Appreciate you guys being here. So if n equals to 0, return true. Continue to decrease down.
Salakin says, I could be the smartest person of all time. I think I just found a O-N solution. It is just a big math problem.
Are you talking about to the previous one, Salakin? So if n is equal to 0, we return true. Else we draw 1, draw 2, and draw 3. Those will recursively call all the way down, and then return these values back to us for each one of these. So we need to say return.
Salakin says, yeah, I am. I didn't see you solved it already.
I haven't solved it. I gave up on it. I'm not going to spend more than an hour thinking about it. I moved on. I got bigger fish to fry. We'll come back to it a different day. Return. So then if I call draw do this. I feel like we're almost there for this one. But I just feel like what do I need to do here? N equals to 0. This will call then on one lower. So if n is equal to 0, then it returns true, you won on that move. So what if I get rid of that and just go here? No, now I'm not returning anything back. So what if I just say return draw 1, draw 2, draw 3, and wrap that like that. Expected is false, but I got a true here. Ah. Okay, I want to say... I feel like I did a problem like this before. I want to try to find it. I think I did one like this. Notice none return 0. Right. Where are you? Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Nim Game. So we return. Draw 1, draw 2, draw 3. Now what do I do with these? If this is true, return true. Okay, so hold on. I'm going to say I am working on LeetCode 292. I don't want you to solve it. I am really close, I feel. Where coach me, don't give it away. So if those are false, return true. And then if not. What would you call that? True for everything. And this is my updated here. Biological. So then we'll return false. If any goes around. true. Let's return false. So if I'm thinking in the right direction, but there's a logical slip here. If there's 0 stones left. Equal to 0, turn false, turn true. Then is equal to 0. It says you should stop showing me the code. Stop showing me code. Pete's sake. I asked you. Okay, so I now am like this. Memoization. Yeah.
Salakin says lol, never let the computer win.
Let's level up with memoization so your solution scales. Your cursor draw ends up recalculating the same value many times, especially for large N. Memoization lets you cache results so repeated calls are instant. Let me look up LeetCode memoization.
Get Google Pixel 9a on us and our new 3-year price lock guarantee, with plans starting at $30 a line.
Programmers, I'm Alvin, and welcome to our course on dynamic programming. So dynamic programming is one of my most favorite topics to teach, but unfortunately that it's still a tree, right, where every node branches to 2 children, but this time we go by 2s, right? So if I look for some familiar ground here, and so the trick here, it's a very common programming pattern. We're going to implement some memoization. Memoization is actually one of the overarching strategies we can use to solve any dynamic programming problems. And so just looking at the name, like why is it called memoization? Well, it just refers to like memo, right? So if I have like a memo in, let's say, like real life, it's really just like a reminder for myself. So using memoization, when I'm looking to...
Yeah. I think I was bored.
Hi, I'm Gail Locke McDowell, author of Cracking Coding Interview. Today we're going to talk about memoization and dynamic programming. This is a super important topic.
I did not expect her to be the author of that book. What?
It gets a lot easier. Fibonacci is pretty much the classic recursive example. Fib of n is the sum here. So if we call this for, say, fib of 6 we'll call fib of 5 and fib of 4, 5 we'll call 4 and 3, 4 we'll call 3 and 2, etc., etc., etc. Then we finish a single branch and we still need to do all the other branches. So that's going to get very, very inefficient. Specifically, if we imagine calling this for, say, fib of n, we're going to call fib of n, and that's going to call n minus fib of n minus 1, fib of n minus 2, fib of n minus 3, dot, 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 all the way down roughly n levels. So we'll have n levels.
Okay, so then...
Tim says I like how Mike himself is in his own YouTube recommended.
Where is my LeetCode? Am I tripping? I'll try.
Salakin says memoization is simply storing the result of an expensive operation. For example, instead of calculation the sum of an array every time you use it, calculate it once and store it in a variable. Salakin says don't let them overcomplicate it lol.
Yeah, okay. If n is equal to 0,
Salakin says hearing my typos read out loud to me hurts.
so if we have, if n is in scene, however, we're going to access, if n minus 1 in scene, we're going to access scene of n minus 1 for the key value. Turn true if it's in scene, else here if not, n minus 1. So I'll do draw 1 is equal to this. Draw 2 is equal to here. And then draw 3 is equal to here. If not, draw 1 so if n minus 1 so if n is in scene, meaning that we've seen this value of n before on a recursive, we don't need to compute the draw n minus 1 on it. So do we want to say that if the n minus 1 is in scene? So if n minus 1 is in scene, right? And if the value is equal to false, we can do this. Okay, think. So we have a scene dictionary. If the n we're on is 0 or less than 0, we're going to return false. Else if n is in scene, if not n, if scene of n is equal to false, return true. On the n of 4, it equals a false. Return scene of n, rather. Else will, if draw 1 or draw 2 or draw 3, return true, else return false. We'll say here, scene for draw 1 is going to be set to equal scene of n minus 1. We'll set to draw 1. Right? Draw 2, draw 3, if draw 1, draw 2, or draw 3, return true, else return false. Being false no matter what. If you go in, so the draw 1 function is going to call draw 1 on, so on 2, it's going to call draw 1 on 1, which means it was going to be true here. So let's take this and let's see how close we are. Two players take turns removing 1, 2, or 3 stones. The player who removes the last stone wins. The key insight. If n modulo 4 equals the first player will always lose. The second player plays option. If n modulo 4 equals to 0, the first player will always lose. If all of the next possible lose. Draw, return false. If n and c return c. When equals when equals scene index n. So then it says not draw. If you cannot draw 1, or not draw 2, or not draw 3, you win on that step, right? If not draw 1 or
Nud says I'm not
Not
exactly
draw.
sure what it means by optimally.
not draw 3, return false. Then you set the dictionary value here of seen n false. That's the true. You won. You can't make a move anymore. If not draw, equals to equals to win, you return false. You return the win at that stage. And return false. Return win. No, it's not. So you just lose on factors of 4. That's so annoying.
Erash Niazi says, hey man, any advice for someone taking an intro level uni course and starting off with C?
Hey, how's it going? Have you taken Harvard CS50X? Still getting
Erash Niazi says no prior background at all. My uni said that I need this intro course towards engineering.
your recursive logic is not correct, but Python's recursion limits failures for large n. Okay.
That is app.
What's going on? Come on. What is going on? Huh. This is stupid. So you're saying that you had to know the math trick to get it right or do it dynamically. For an easy LeetCode, I don't think they want dynamic programming. You're not alone in thinking this way. So what's up with the easy tag? You're absolutely right. This LeetCode is easy and typically means that no dynamic programming is expected. A greedy math or simple recursion solution should suffice. The math trick should allow you to recognize a pattern. Actually expects you to recognize a pattern, not to build a full recursion tree. Your recursion is totally fair for many problems, but Python stack size is shallow. Nah, that's a stupid problem. So they made me do all that work just to tell me that the memoization doesn't work because the values are too high for n. So just use this little math trick and know that every value, if it's not a factor of 4, it doesn't work. What kind of stupid problem is this? Such a, like, it's just really annoying. Like, I get that it's totally fair game to throw in a problem like this, but it's annoying because we're in the mindset of programming and like thinking of loops and recursions and things. I'm not looking for simple little math tricks based on this little one-off sequence. That just seems so stupid. Like, I'm looking for code, like coding things and like how to code. Like, I'm not looking for little math tricks. That just seems really annoying to me. What do you guys think? Yeah, I would take Harvard CS50X.
Tim says should have done 3 sum. Skewichis says genius lies in simplicity.
All right, Skewy Chess. Go off then.
Tim says I agree Big Mike FR.
Yeah, like what?
Skewichis says a fool enjoys complexity, a genius turns it into simplicity. Salakin says check out Advent of Code, all of those problems are loops and stuff, no clever math tricks.
Yeah, I spent an hour working on this problem just for it to be like a little clever math trick one-liner. Like, this actually never had anything to do or possibly to be solved with the recursive, methodology of this type of problem, which is annoying. It's kind of like the stair-step problem. Like, you can only take 1, 2, or 3 steps. Can you make it to the bottom of the stairs? Well, yeah, you can do this using recursion and using,
Skewichis says no LeetCode needed for employment.
Not LeetCode needed for employment. Yeah, when they start having an event of code be the coding interviews, they'll have to switch over to that one as lacking. All right. What's next, you guys?
Negativia occurrence Seg 5 says, cheap viewers on streamboot.com, remove the space, RBYEKRNO.
All right. That was terrible.
This isn't just any chat.
Oh,
It's
come
ClickUp
on.
chat.
ClickUp
Salakin says
chat.
time
This
to build a
isn't
ray
just any
tracer in
chat,
C++
it's
with
ClickUp chat.
OpenGL.
Sure, you
Skewichis
can
says
tag
wait,
your
you're right
team,
about this
ask
problem.
questions,
Nim
and
is a
even drop an
classic
emoji.
ML solved game
But
where
the
you
real
use
magic
minimax.
is how it
That's a
connects to
stupid
the
problem
rest of my
FR.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's like, It's the same approach for the LeetCode kind of methodology of doing the stair step problem, where you can either take 2, 3, or 1 step down the stairs. Will you make it to the bottom on an even amount, or like on an even, like will you make it to the bottom like with those increments? And that's the same approach, but it's just stupid because they're making the stack too big, which is kind of annoying. Okay, let's go back. So how can I restart my Vive server? Oh, sorry. Invite. React.
Skewichis says, yeah, those problems in the real world take a bunch of heuristics and search, but in LeetCode it's just a bunch of clever tricks which are honestly harder.
How to restart your server. We've closed. Run dev, or using yarn dev with. Run the dev server again. Go to my project, go run dev. npm run dev. Oh, ls my React app cd my React app npm run dev. Okay, so then in this, someone gave a comment here that said,
Salakin says, does being good at LeetCode really matter? I would rather my co-workers know React and how to call APIs than be good at LeetCode.
hey, how else are they gonna get promotions? They've gotta they've gotta tell their manager they know how to solve LeetCode hards. That's what your manager looks like, right? He looks at your LeetCode profile. All right, your quarterly raise. Looks like you only got 20 LeetCode problems this quarter instead of 50. Looks like we're gonna have to drop you down to a 3% instead of a 5%.
Tim says, Mike Rajabate.
Mike Rage. You can have the browser open within VS Code. Copy the localhost URL command palette, Control Shift P. So copy the localhost. Open the command palette. Command Shift P. Type simple browser. Paste in the URL. Now it opens up in another tab. And now we can just go here, split the view in VS Code itself. Look at that. Nice. That's a goated comment. I'm going to reply to that comment. Goated. This is from the React video I'm watching from Brocode. I've been watching this. I've been putting it on in the backgrounds. This is how I've been learning React during my commutes to and from work. I've been putting it on in the background. I've been listening to it. And my commute's an hour each way, so I've already gotten like 2.5 hours in. I'm on hooks, I think, right now. Okay. Michael Deming, employment experience.
Tim says, damn, 1 hour.
One hour? Oh yeah. Okay. Dean, so let's go here.
Salakin says careful 13,500 people die a year from coding while driving.
Is that true? No way. No way. You're such a troller, bro. Such a troller. Okay, let's dial this up.
Salakin says lol, I'm kidding.
Hey, Tim and Salakin, we're thinking about doing a special on the stream for the people that come in like every single day. You, Tim, a couple other people, a couple of the mods in the Discord, regarding like if you guys mentioned what I was talking about earlier is I want to host a whackathon where we have like our own hackathon, but it's like a whack version that we all do together where we'll set a week or 5 days, Monday through Friday. We'll hop on for 2 hours between this time and this time, all together on a call and stream, and I'll stream, and we'll work together and basically peer code together, kind of helping me and helping each other, get a project moving, and hopefully by the end of the week have like a full project together. What do you guys think? Would that be something you guys are interested in doing together? We have to put together like a team of about 3 or 4 people. Okay, so we have this, and then this shrinks down like that. Okay, that looks good. So let's go ahead. We have header, work experience, and education.
Salakin says, I would love to do that. Tim says potentially yay after finals.
When are your guys' finals done? Everybody seems to be like they're in finals right now.
4 says, lol, be great.
The whackathon, I think, would be fun. Okay, what do we want to add here? What kind of stylings do we want to do? Like, we'll worry about stylings later. So,
Tim says this week is finals, the week after is recovery, the week after that is Cancun.
week of recovery and then a week of Cancun? Sounds like 2 weeks of recovery, Tim. I am back to building my portfolio site in React. I am wanting to grab a snippet, a live snip of my current GitHub commit daily calendar. And how do you spell calendar?
Can I go to Cancun with you already live there, lol.
Commit daily calendar, as well a live feed from my LinkedIn. What is the best way to do this? I want to do it. Don't do it for me. Pulling live content into your React portfolio adds dynamic edge. Here's how you can do it yourself, while I guide you through the right approach. GitHub contribution calendar. Use a library recommended for ease. Use the React GitHub calendar. Okay, so let's see here. We have so we have, let me put my terminal down here, I guess. Okay, so we'll say npm install React GitHub calendar. Oh. Come on, this is annoying. Okay, whatever, there we go. So we want to go npm install React GitHub calendar. Okay, in your component, stop doing everything for me. GPT's really on my nerves today. Okay, so let's add a new component here. We'll add GitHub cal .jsx. I'm going to go function GitHub cal return, like so. And we're going to say export default GitHub cal. So inside my return, I'm going to return a div object with a class name equal to GitHub cal. I'm going to open up this div. I'm going to insert an image tag. I'm going to give it a source equal to because we need to actually say import GitHub calendar from quote React / GitHub calendar. So then I make the username equal to quote Michael Deming. But this is a GitHub calendar rather. And we'll make this a username of Michael Deming. So now if I go to my page here and I add on, we'll say import GitHub cal from GitHub cal. There's that. 0 contributions last year? You're trolling. There ain't no way.
Tim says add your frat line.
Oh. Who's got the GitHub username? sketchy. Michael Deming GitHub. Who has that username? Oh, someone does. Bro's never coded before and has my username. Coded once on May 17th, 2018. Not a repository. Dang. Took my username. Add my frat? I wasn't in a frat. Yeah.
Tim says just hack into his account, Mike.
I wonder if we could reach out to him, he could give us the name. I have my middle initial, so mine's this. Michael D. Deming. So I'm going to give it a prop.
Tim says D for David.
Yeah, that's my middle initial. So if I give GitHub Cal username, there we go. $158 contributions in the last year. Since September.
Salakin says Fim, you can't have more than one free GitHub account. I didn't know and had two from two different emails and they suspended one of them.
Oh, interesting.
Salakin says FWI.
So those are contributions. So now let's try to style this a little bit. Let's go. So those are in line. Can I wrap stuff in a div here? Index content. Let's close the div. Let's take these,
Tim says in that case I'm cooked.
wrap them in a div itself. Index content. So now we can access.
Colby says how would they even know? Colby says use a different email.
So this is index content. Index content main. We have work experience. So then we're going to open up another div called class name index content left. We'll open up another div here, call it class name index right. Open up that. Take throw that there like such. Then div closes. Div opens. Throw that in there like such. So now what we can do is we can access content main flex line item just flex wrap there you go.
Tim says IP address.
There we go. How does that look? Can you change the year of the GitHub username block count 26 half a year? So say if I set the block count equal to 26 on the GitHub calendar, this gives us to May to now, May to May. Just give me block count 20.
Brandon says that's not Python.
So if I remove this block count, set the block count to 26 in here. That didn't do anything. So we go username, block count, right. It's just a GitHub calendar with a single closing tag. such. Let me take block count 26. Color scheme dark. That doesn't do anything. What are all the customizations? Transparent for color scheme.
Colby says try to control plus click into the component to see the library code.
It says try to control plus click into the component to see the library code. Oh, there. Okay, so let's go here. Export props, username, error message. Here.
Colby says on GitHub calendar.
Date equals a string. I want to see what this looks like. Calendar. Here. $158 commits this year. Tool tip on this date. True. That removes that. Is 158 contributions in the last year? Is that a lot? So then I'm gonna give. How did Broco do that one thing?
AI makes solving tickets my form of
this will work. However, you'll want to rename count to setter function.
Meet the new standard in sleep.
Did he say?
For Ultra. It's not a bed, it's a revolution in the sleep game. Crafted for those who demand nothing but peak performance in
Ease.
every aspect of life, including sleep. It cools, it heats, it elevates. And it's clinically proven to give you up to 1 hour more of quality sleep per night. Pod 4 Ultra redefines.
How did he do that?
For our color.
Color
Give
thing.
this a few sure let's the right align and I'll add a we will ease this transition.
0.25 seconds ease. So it doesn't, that doesn't do anything. 1 second. Ease in. No, that just, it just snaps. Okay. So now we have our GitHub contribution calendar. Should I make it dark or light? What do you guys like? Light or dark mode? Well, we could flip it for the... Okay, so then what we're gonna do is we're gonna give dot index content right a right margin of 2
Salkin
em.
says dark is that even a question lol.
Index content left margin left 2 em.
Salakin says I need to feel like I am in the Matrix.
Index content left. Why is that one pushing that one further that way? Index content left. On the left side is the work, this guy here. So why am I, if I give a margin left, let's go like this. Border, solid, black. Let's add one here as well. Why is my content? Okay. So why? Let's see. Height is 100%. How to give width 50%, height 100% view height. content section on the right. Some spacing. Okay. Let's make this 25 pixels. Oh. I want to add this here for margin right. 20 pixels. 5 pixels. Let's wrap. I'm gonna add another div element. We'll just do a H. What is my job as a H3 company name? H2. That. Okay. So what I'll do is I'm going to give here, remove this, gap. Then I'm going to add in a link to my GitHub right here as well. Button, class name, GitHub, button. Okay.
John says, that would be nice if you can write Markdown and it will turn into the HTML.
Would that would be like nice if you could write Markdown and it turns into the HTML? Oh yeah. You guys are here. Consider leaving a thumbs up. Really appreciate you guys being here and hanging out with me. Welcome, welcome everybody. We have a button here, GitHub button. We're gonna give the contents of what should we say for the button? Like, for the button itself to be right clickable down here. What should we say for the button? Profile. Visit profile. Let's make it up. Should we say go? What should we say for the button label? Profile. So I'm gonna go here and go style. Margin. None. Margin 0.
John says, Oshi, are you doing React?
Yeah, we're doing React right now, Mr. John. So margin 0. This is that. So props. I'll put let me get rid of this style. Let's leave it like that. Let me put the button at the bottom.
John says, W are using a whole front-end framework.
Yeah, this one I've been watching some videos on React, and doesn't seem really that hard. I've kind of gotten like the brute out of the way of kind of learning the raw HTML and CSS, and this is like creating just chunks and piecing them together. But I'm only about halfway through the video of the 4-hour course I'm watching. So this is a GitHub button. swear I have more contributions than that.
John says, I was doing some Udemy courses on React few years ago but only finished like 70%. Vorted says, how long have you been learning?
7 months. Hey Vortet, how's it going? I mean 11 months.
Salakin says, I'm in the process of learning React and Next.js.
Yeah, this doesn't have all of my contributions. My April is stacked. Way more than that. Yeah, I don't get it. I have way more. I have 1,882 contributions in the last year.
Vortet says, how do you start learning and what resources did you start with?
This display is not giving all my contributions. I have over 1,882. Only shows country last year's. It's not even showing most recent, though. Enable include on my profile, contribution settings. Archives, Copilot repositories. Scroll to contribution settings in profile. Make profile private. So now if I $158 in the last year. I have way more than that. The year 2024, 1,128 contributions in 2024. If I go, so this starts January. Someone want to give me their contribution history? Because this says I didn't contribute at all. I have tons of contributions. 158 contributions in the last year. Why does the charts differ on my GitHub versus this? Pulls data from GitHub's public API, which excludes private ones.
Says, what do you mean, like people contributing to you or you contributing to other people?
Well, here's my GitHub contributions for 2025. It's stacked. Like I've been contributing almost every single day. Whereas here, there's just a lot of gaps. It doesn't reflect. So it's only reaching the last 1 month. Real-time updates, full year selection. But you can use GraphQL API for full accuracy. You can build a custom component that uses GitHub's GraphQL API to fetch.
It probably doesn't count the commits you made on private repos.
Yeah, probably, John. A lot of my repos were private before I made them.
Says change your view on GitHub from private to public. Fizzy says you completed Python. Salakin says maybe it only tracks public ones. Create a GitHub personal access token. Here's a simple to fetch the year. Feedback. Huh. $158 in the last year. This says 158 that I commit plus on GitHub self. John says, open an incognito tab and view your GitHub profile. It will probs look the same.
Okay, let's look. Is it private or incognito? Is it the same thing? Michael. 1082. A ton more commits. Commits to default branches. Dang it, that kind of puts like a damper on what I wanted then. So I thought it would be fun to have like my contribution summaries here. Maybe I'll just include a screenshot up for the current month, like up for the current year in May so far. Like we could do that, right? So we could take this, expand it out, zoom in. And we could screenshot which isn't like ideal, but we could screenshot here like that. I don't know, what do you guys think? What do you guys think? Should I screenshot it and keep it here like that, or? Because honestly, this was gonna look a lot more impressive if I had all my commits here.
I assume GitHub would have an API for the graph, or is that what you're using?
They do have an API I can pull from, but I have to build the information myself. The AI kind of showed me here. I had to do this. So this is what...
Dare I says hi.
Hey, how's it going? Welcome in. Welcome in again. We get a GitHub token. Then use this function here. The use state. The null default value is set data. Update function. Or set function.
Dare I says, are you using chat?
Yeah, this is ChatGipt here. Yeah. What should I do then? It's a bummer.
John says would be cool if the API lets you use your own profile token to see all your commits.
I know, right? This GitHub calendar, React GitHub calendar doesn't, only gives you just those ones. It would have been a lot more impressive to an employer to see all of my commits, but this is kind of a weak, like this is pretty weak. Like I don't want to show this. This is not impressive. Compared to my actual,
Where are you from?
compared to my actual commit history this year, right? It's almost every day. Well, what do you think we should do here instead? I'm from United States, Oregon, to be exact. What should we do here then, Tim? And John? Maybe we'll do this.
John says graph, image emo.
Graph over image? What do you mean graph over image? You talking about this?
John says it shows you have the technical skill to embed it lol.
Are you wanting me to build the graph from scratch? That'd be a whole rabbit hole. What to do, what to do.
John says, I mean what UAEL have is better than using an image.
The only thing I don't like about this is like it's just bare. Like it's not. It's just, it looks kind of weak compared to what my actual profile is. Right? Well, that sucks because I wanted to display the heat map on my portfolio to entice recruiters, but the lack of commit history makes it look weak. And you're not wrong to feel it undercut your hard work. GitHub's contribution graph on your profile is comprehensive and impressive, but sadly the public data available to tools GitHub contributions on your profile is comprehensive and impressive, but sadly the public data available to tools like React, GitHub Calendar, or even GitHub GraphQL API won't fully reflect that, especially if many contributions are private. If you contribute on non-default branches, if you do a lot of pull requests.
LeetCode problem without any loops. Salakin says I refuse to sleep until I do.
You got it, dude. I believe in you. Didn't your school just end? You're already grinding away here? Screenshot your GitHub profile calendar. Most common and safe is. Okay, then let's do this. Let's do... Crap. Content mean. Content left. Content right. Okay, I'm gonna delete this. delete this. Delete this. Okay, so we have a header, and then we have work experience. So I'm going to add in another instance. Of work experience. Props here. Props not company name. Okay, remove this work experience. Create a job. So this is my job. Job as
John
props.
says, apparently you can change the visibility of your private contributions on GitHub.
Yeah, I did that. I went to my settings and I made them public. Your profile. Settings. Contribution. Include private contributions on my profile. Your contribution graph, achievements, and activity overview will show the private contributions without revealing any repositories. Yeah, I have that checked. So then why is my job has all these props into it? As a position. A position is this. So I took a position and I inserted it into work experience. So can I do this instead? Takes in a job. And the job. Company name. Here. I'm confused. Let me take my job. Take this. Your position. I'm confused. So position. Let's take the position. go to work experience, go to our job. We're going to paste the position here. Okay, then we're going to take the job and go to work experience and paste it here.
John says, are you using Next.js with Tailwind and all that?
I don't really know what Next.js is, and no, I'm not using Tailwind. Okay, so then Java, we delete this, delete the position. App, calling work experience, given the company name. We'll call it work experience. Right, and education. So the work experience has a company name for the job, the position, and the job title. App. Okay, so work experience now has this, where you have a position, a job, overarching the job experience. So we need to give a company name. Company name when passed in. So work experience. Company name. Sure. Right. We'll give a job title equal to scientist to string. We'll give a job start and job end. This is going to be Feb. Four. And then we'll do job end. This is current. Okay. And then job highlight 1, job highlight 2, and job highlight 3. Okay, like so. There we go. Okay, so now let's go here and go git add. Git commit re job. Origin dev. Refactored work experience.
As says, will this project be open source?
Okay, add. Why is there still stuff that I need to add? What's going on? Oh, these are errors. Oh, that's why. Node mode. Package.json. Okay. Nice. So now that we're like that.
John says, I assume his portfolio site would be personal.
I do have it actually tracking on my GitHub right now. So you can fork it as we go and, you know, utilize my kind of same format and structure. But I currently don't have, it's currently not like done yet. So yeah. Okay. So then now that we have that, what do we want to do now? Wait, we have work experience. Okay, so then I'm gonna add in my app another work experience above here. Company name will be the work experience is giving me employment experience. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a job.jsx. I'm going to take h3 take that
Joel
out.
says, I just realized open source looks better to potential employers. As says, looks good so far.
So then I want to create a work experience which has this. So then it's going to have a job in here. So function job, paste that in, return that. We'll pass in props here, and then we'll do export default job. Okay. So then can I call a work experience? Call a work experience. And can I call it job? How can I nest a work, a job, element into a work experience element in React? The job is equal to this. Export default job. Work calls for experience. Children. So in my work experience,
As says, work experience, job, work experience.
function props return HTML class name. Props.children.
Jesus says, what's the playlist you're listening to?
Do default work experience. So then in job component has a so then in your app you have work experience with a job inside of it. So now if we give a company name equal to quote Thermo Fisher go. Okay, and then we'll give a job title to science. Formulation chemistry. And then we have job start, job end, January 2022. Current. Okay. And then job highlight 1. Test. Job highlight 2 and 3. There we go. So now those are appropriately being nested in there, and we can dynamically put that into the child job. Perfect. Add job component as child of.
Ray says hello, Mike and everyone.
Hey Ray, how's it going? Jesus, this playlist is Jazz Noir. Jazz Noir by Relax Music. Jazz Noir, exquisite midnight jazz, dark jazz music. I like this kind of music for studying. Really keeps me focused and going. Okay, so now we got props in there. Good. So now what I can do is I can give an additional work experience, or I can give an additional job in here, and I'll take all of these props, paste them here. Right, and then I'll give company name. This is going to be Birdie Rose Clothes.
The boot camp allowed me to keep my job, honestly, and continue working. My end goal was to be able to live in a cool
Software.
city, have enough money to do fun things and enjoy my life, and I just didn't see any of that in the career I was in. I applied to about 150 jobs. I happened to see a job posting that was in Atlanta, and so I said, I'll just
Contract.
apply to this. I jokingly put in like a 6-figure number as what I want for myself.
Software engineer contractor. January 2020.
It really doesn't matter your current career, what you did in the past, how old you are, or what you're doing now. If you want to change your career and get
I did this from January 2020. I worked on this from November, so I'll say November 2024 to I finished the project
As says, hey Ray and Mike.
Hey Az, how's it going, dude? What you guys working on? Late night stream, huh? What you pounding for? What you doing? My dog's smiling at me. Okay. So we have software engineer contractor. November 2024 to current. I'll say this was, I finished the project April 2025.
As says, I'm about to go looking on the Next.js plus Superbase app.
Nice, dude.
As says, thanks for streaming. See you next time.
Thanks for coming in, AZ. I'll see you next time, dude. Peace out. Have a good night. You're awesome. I'll see you later. Open up.
69 Zra says hello there.
Hey, 69 SWRA. How's it going? Thanks for coming in on Twitch. Appreciate you for joining me. How's it going? Welcome in. Where's my creator dashboard here?
Okay. 69 Zra says I'm doing alright G. How at you?
I'm doing good. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for the follow, Saints Resolve on Twitch. Appreciate you. Hold up, sorry. Activity stream preview. I don't want to do that. Thanks for the follow, S69SWRA. Appreciate you for coming in here. What happened to my panel?
69 Zra says, so what do we have here? Are you creating a portfolio?
Yeah, I'm trying to at least. I'm trying to learn React here. Hold on, I'm trying to see with this. What happened here with my Twitch? Activity feed. Okay, whatever. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Software engineer contractor. Education, Bachelor of Science, Human Biology, and minor in Chemistry, Utah State University, Logan, Utah. Anything else we should add to this front page, you guys? What do you think? We've restructured this enough to where we can have work experience with multiple jobs inside. Alright, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write a card, basically. That will contain so I could have like a card here for like my GitHub information, LinkedIn. Because we're currently, it's just like this. It's just blank over here. I had my GitHub contributions there, but we decided to change it because it wasn't pulling all of our contributions and it looked pretty bare.
69 Sra says maybe you can add a button to edit the information.
So what else should I add? I don't even know. Software engineer contractor.
69 Sra says you don't need to hard code everything, that's why I gave that recommendation.
Oh, gotcha. What else should I add, you guys? Like in terms of information here. Like, so we have our, right, we did this software engineer contract that I'm going to include for our Birdie Rose Close, which is my, you know, my girlfriend's or my colleague's business, where I wrote the entire business ledger software. Add a bloodline. What's a bloodline? What's a bloodline? Hey, Wendy. Thanks for coming in.
Wendy Dev says sorry, failed joke, like your family lineage.
Oh. Failed joke. No worries. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate you for joining me here. Welcome. All right, so we're building a portfolio site here. I've got my education, BS of human biology and a minor in chemistry. I've got, so we did a contractor role for Birdie Rose Close where I built their entire business ledger using Python, Fast API, or Python and Tkinter rather. So I built them a full graphic user interface that they allowed me to use open up source to my community as well. And so that's what we'll include here. So we need some bullet points here. So we'll say, like, I'll just leave those out for now. We don't need to fill those in quite yet. How does this look, though, for education? Bachelor of Science in Biology, minor in Chemistry, Utah State University, Logan, Utah, minor in I'm going to go to our degree. And I'm going to add in adding in our app, we're adding in a degree, no? Education, which contains a degree. So we want to pass in degree, or education rather, takes in props.children. Then we'll take this degree, remove it from here, go into app, education, add in a degree here, fill in this information, so why am I getting an error here? Work experience is taking props, children. Degree. Props, children. Degree title, institution name, city, state, month, year, highlight. Title, major name, city, state, month, year, highlight. Added degree. Title. Why isn't this working? So our work experience returns that. Returns this. Return that. Huh. Remove the comma from.
Salamian says lol couldn't figure out the LeetCode. I need sleep to think anymore. Good night.
See you, Salakin, dude. I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks so much for coming in, dude. Putting the comma between elements also. Why isn't this working? If I remove this altogether, what do I got? Education. Optional. There we get it. Nice. Okay, so now I just go like this and put that like that, remove that. Takes education, I can remove. Okay, like that. Cool. So I have Michael Deming, employment experience, Birdie Rose closed, software engineer contractor, 2024, April 2025. Thermo Fisher Scientific, Scientist 2, Formulation Chemistry, January 22 to current. Education, Bachelor of Science, Human Biology, with a minor in Chemistry, Dusty University. Should I put CS50 on here? Do you think? So if I give another degree here, degree title, this is Certificate of Completion of, or this is the title would be Harvard CS50. Harvard Online Harvard CS50 CS50X.
Ejik1 says, "Hi, my name is Ejik. I'm trying to build a powerful all-in-one emulation system on Windows 11 that can run modern console games like PS4, Switch, and more, preferably with an integrated front end and easy access
Asking the
to
wrong
apps
person, my
immediately,
friend. I'm
without
a
using
noob
dodgy
here
Chinese
too.
files. Can you recommend any tools, launchers, or emulators I should use? Any tips on how to set this up properly?"
I don't know. Screw remove. We don't need it. True science. Okay, let's go. We'll say added degree refactored degree component as child of the
Ejik1 says, "Can you help me out some? You didn't even read the question. Clearly it's written well."
Bruh, I am like been coding 11 months. I can't help you. I build science-based projects. I don't build games or anything like that.
Ejik1 says yes.
I appreciate you being here though. Welcome in. I have a degree in human biology and a minor in chemistry. I would use ChatGPT. Have it teach you. That's how I learn. Prompt it, be like, hey, I'm trying to learn this. I would like to go step by step. Teach me regarding these things and these factors, and really give it a detailed prompt about how you want to learn and how you want what your goals are, what project, and that's kind of a good way to start. But I'm currently trying to learn myself. I don't know. Sorry, dude. Okay, so we have. So I'm gonna say this is. Here is my app. It was clean and well structured. You organize your resume well. Header, work experience, education.
Says you can't, that's the answer.
Makes your sharing your app component look clean and well structured. You're organizing your resume styles sections. Here's a helpful suggestions to make it more polished and scalable. You're already doing this with degree right now, but header could also be written as this. Okay, so let's just make a header with the self-closing tag.
Edgic1 says, but I asked ChatGPT, not really sure how to ask him this question. Could I ask you to write to him about it instead?
Bruh.
Edgic1 says, help me please, ChatGPT.
Bro, if you're seriously asking me to prompt to vibe code for you, I think you might be having a bigger issue. It might be more of a skill gap. You might need to refresh like your actual. Dude, you gotta. It's just asking a question. Like treat it as if you're having a conversation with a human being. But is that gonna be the next next wave of cheating in college? Yeah, like, is that gonna be the new wave in college? Is cheating ChatGPT with ChatGPT? Imagine asking ChatGPT, I don't know how to cheat using ChatGPT. That's so funny. Ejek, you got me dying, bro. Can you ask the GPT for me? Just take that question you asked me and put it in there, literally. You got me dying, bro. You're funny. Welcome, man. You're funny, man. Consider renaming your probably job start to job start. I never know.
Jesus says, I'm done lurking for the night, lol, catch you later, Mike. Have a good stream.
Thanks, Jesus. I'll see you tomorrow, man. I'll see you tomorrow. Is it Jesus or is it Jesus? Please let me know so I can pronounce it right. I'll see you tomorrow.
Says dude has zero knowledge about coding and programming and wants to create a simulator for Windows. I have been expert coding for the past 7 years. I'm scared to go past the path.
I know. He sees me building a resume site in React and it says, can you teach me how to do game simulation for Come on, man. I'm trying my best here with what I got. Oh, it's just never enough. It's never...
Jesus says, either one is fine with me. No preference, lol.
Okay. Didn't know if you didn't want to be called Jesus or whatnot, like Christianity stuff or whatnot, but cool. Thanks for coming in, dude. I'll see you tomorrow. Good session today. Good study session.
T9sra says, LMAO dude can't fix a div and gets asked to create a simulation. Jesus says,
bro, can't fix a div. Come on, man. I can fix a div. Don't do that. Don't do me like that. Really? You gonna do me like that, man? That's brutal. Gotta give me some credit. Look, oh, right. I mean, we've been stuck here for the past hour, so maybe not. Okay, I just don't know what to add. Like,
T9sra says, no, I'm just joking, man. I still Google on how to center a div, lol.
Yeah, we gotta align items, center, justify content, center, display, flex, and then gap. You can give a gap if you have items, multiple items. Thanks you're awesome, dude. I appreciate your chats. No, but Ejek, if you're still in here, I promise you, we're not like bashing on you at all. I'm telling you the honest truth. Like, I really think you should really figure out how to there is a skill into prompting, right? It's not all like there's kind of this facade that it's kind of all cheating or whatever. It's not cheating, right?
Yo, what's up, man?
So
Muhammad
if you use it to cheat, then yeah, you're gonna cheat. But if you really, use it as like you're having a conversation with like a TA or a professor, then it'll mimic that environment. You would never ask your professor to just give you the answer or solve it for you unless you were really stuck in wanting an example after about like an hour's work of trying it yourself, right? Your professor would want you to go into an independent study, try it, and then if you really can't get it, then come back and receive, the how-to and the step-by-step. But that's exactly how I treat it. I say, hey, this is my goal. This is what I'm wanting to accomplish. This is how I'm wanting to accomplish it. This is what I want you to do to get me there. Let's go ahead and try it. And and then these are my preferences. Hey Mohammed, what's up? Do you remember me? I've been talking to my professor and other tenants. I had decided to finally go into something that resonates with me. Nice, dude. What are you talking about? College?
Edgic one says fuck you because I can see that you're not a programmer who knows what you're laughing at. You're not helpful. Nice. Who wants to tell me what to do next?
No one's laughing at you. We're laughing with you. We're like.
So I will be learning C++ first and then learn C, Python in the upcoming 2-3 years and do my thesis in robotics.
That's awesome, Mohammed. That's going to be a huge. That's a huge path forward. I think robotics are going to be a huge field game player. Like they already are, obviously, for manufacturing, but even more so, automation and manufacturing can even make more strides with robotics. Like in my chemistry, I still make my solutions by hand, so there's still stuff to be improved upon with robotics, with amputees, with AI, obviously, autonomous driving. It's a huge, definitely, that's good on you, Mohammed. We'll be here, I'll be right here streaming alongside you as you learn, and hopefully we'll learn together. Eject, man, no one was coming at you, I promise. We were just trying to, I honestly, I don't know. Like, I'm a beginner myself. I'm trying to code just a portfolio website, and I've coded some...
A lot of people don't work with robotics.
Yeah. Probably just that big uphill battle, it seems like, right? It's robotics. I knew some really smart kids in high school and middle school that were on like those Lego robotics teams that are making some real big strides nowadays. Yeah, that's kind of like where I'm trying to come from. I'm trying to showcase my chemistry and biology skills intertwined with programming to help make that transition, right? Because rather than just being kind of like everybody else, I know I'm doing React right now, but I'm doing React so I can better structure my front end for my scientific projects, right? It'll be easier to just write up really quick and build like these little components for my graphs and my visualizations, but that's why I'm doing this here, and then choosing the portfolio as a way to test it out and get some practice.
Says, Muhammad from YouTube, I'm so happy for you. Also a little worried working with robotics is amazing and kind of hard.
Have you guys seen that guy on YouTube that makes the robot gun? Or on TikTok, he's been coding and programming like an automated defense sentry turret almost. Yeah, I'm going to be getting into math here on the channel. So my goal is I stopped on Calculus 1, so I would like to retake Calculus 1 and continue on the channel and do it. So I'm planning on maybe doing a once or twice a week doing a math course. I just got to find one that I would like and start it, whether I get a book or an actual course. I got to find a resource that I like for like Calculus 1, maybe pre-calculus, and then start going into that.
That means a lot.
Okay. Now what do we want? So that looks fine. I mean, I maybe even will have like a resume tab over here and have my home page be like a literal home page, right? So maybe this won't even be our final app. But for my next one, I'm going to do the projects tab, I think. That one won't be too hard. I think I'm going to make some cards and showcase them with some like demo links.
Muhammad says, are you learning math just for fun or for CS?
Both. So I'm hoping to use the math to incorporate into some of my projects. So I'm going to create
69 Sra says, Michael, a quick tip, add augment AI extension in versus code now. It's gonna help you so much while learning a new coding language.
Yeah, I've been a little bit apprehensive to add an AI directly in because I really don't want to have it like, you know, auto solve stuff for me or whatnot. I've been trying to do more stuff by hand, like on purpose for right now, and so I can get an understanding, and then speed up once I understand.
Muhammad says, well then ensure you are good with linear algebra, calculus and analytical geometry plus probability and statistics, discrete mathematics, really important.
Yeah. All right, you guys. I think I'm going to head out here tonight. I really appreciate you guys joining me and hanging out with me. I know I didn't get a lot done on this back half. I'm kind of just, honestly, I'm a little bit stuck. I don't really know what else to add.
Says, yeah, I get it. It does not like autocomplete anything for you. You can use it like chat, but it's easier and faster.
Oh, got you. I'll have to check it out. So what else do you guys think I should add on to this homepage?
Foundation of CS mathematics, you have covered most of the stuff. Muhammad says, I need to start coming earlier, brother. I just woke up.
Oh, Mohammed, what time zone are you in? I'm sorry, man. It's 10:45 p.m. for me right now. I'll be back tomorrow though. I'll come on earlier in the day. I'm on USD PST time, so I'll come on probably around like noon PST.
Says it's 8:46 a.m. for me.
Oh, gotcha. You guys are on the other side then.
Muhammad says, PKT. Muhammad says, it's 10:46 a.m. here. Muhammad
PKT.
Says, I am moving to Canada. We will have the same time.
Is PKT, is that Pakistan? Mohammed, you're moving to Canada? Are you going to school there? You should link up with Mahan.
Muhammad says, yes, sir.
Mahan, he's going to school at the University of Toronto, and he's from Saudi Arabia or Pakistan? Somewhere over there. He might be in a very similar situation. He's a mod in my Discord, but he's been MIA for like forever. I don't know where he is.
Muhammad says, we talked before Michael Deming, if you remember I donated and we had a good time. 69 Sra says try to add a button. Later on you can add job professions and edit them casually without hard coding. Add some pictures or animations also for the next stream.
So would I want a button though? I don't want to have like anybody be able to come in and just edit these by pressing the button. So what I think I want to do is I want to have like what I had at the beginning of the stream was I inserted a link element to our GitHub heat map.
Says not anybody. You can have the button only for yourself.
Oh, I didn't know that. Like an admin only button? Huh. So yeah, I had the GitHub heat map here, but it wasn't pulling all of my contributions, and so it looked pretty weak, and I didn't want to display that to employers because it had a lot of gaps when I've been coding like every single day. So it's like, I'm like, you know, why is it doing that? Let me show you my heat map here.
I tried web development for 6 months. I respect web developers too much. Muhammad says, I don't like it but go for it. Muhammad says, the front end always just baffles me.
Yeah, here. I inputted this heat map, but it wasn't getting all of our contributions.
Using permission role-based method. If someone is not permitted, she can't be able to see the button.
Yeah, Mohammed, we're trying to learn it right now so we can more easily set up our simulations, right? So my goal, I wrote this project. So this is my most recent project, chromaplot.com, where you're able to generate graphs via thin layer or paper chromatography simulations like you would in general chemistry. You can provide a name and then an RF value between 0 or 1, and then that basically determines the speed offset against the solvent of this graph GIF. So really quickly, I'll just generate one here. All right, it takes forever though because the server that I'm hosting on is really slow. It's a free version, so it's pretty limited by bandwidth. So it does take some time to get the plot. So I'll bring this back here when it comes up. But yeah, so tomorrow what we'll do is we'll work on the project section. So my idea is we'll make some cards, which will be like kind of like boxes for our kind of raised boxes off of the screen for actually containing our project containers, and then having like a drop down to kind of give like a description and like a you know, some other information regarding the projects itself. See, it's still loading here.
Says, what time are you coming tomorrow, according to your zone?
Tomorrow, I'm gonna try to come on and stream around noon. There it goes. See, now it generates a GIF, and you can see that the lower retention factors move a lot slower compared to the ones with higher retention factors offset by this solvent at 100%. So this moves up and drifts, and you can see where it would end up at the end of the simulation as it wraps up the GIF here. And then you can download the GIF to your personal device as well.
That's 2 a.m. for me in Fayoum.
Mohammed, you said it was...
69 Sra says Biochemistry, the subject that made me hate my life.
Yeah, Mohammed, we're on like opposite ends, dude.
12 hours behind me. Optileptical says beginner right. Optileptical says you are.
Yeah, I've been coding for about 11 months. Welcome in, Octoleptical. Thanks for coming in, dude. Yeah, I have a degree in human biology and a minor in chemistry, so I've been wanting to incorporate some of my knowledge of chemistry and biology into projects, and so this was our most recent one that we made. So tomorrow what we'll do is we'll add in the projects page of our portfolio here and start adding in some of these projects, like the chromaplot.com, our software we made for Birdie Rose Clothes, that we were contracted by them to make, kind of as a freelance developer. If you guys haven't seen that project, I'll show you guys that one real quick here. Here it is. This is the small business manager I wrote for Birdie Rose Clothes. So this is their inventory, expenses, transactions, income statements, and balance sheets, and then settings, so that they can add items with various components. They can add expenses with various informations. They can then transact those items as sales or return types, and then populate and generate income statements automatically, as well as balance sheets automatically for remaining assets in that calendar period, and then the transactions summarized within the income statement here. And then you can update the settings of the individual businesses, like the sizings, categories, methods, sale platforms, etc., of all of these more of these options here. So this is my other project I wrote completely in Python using SQL, Python, to Kinter. Yeah. Coding overall. I've been coding for 11 months. That's all I've been doing here. And I've been streaming myself every single day as I've been doing it. So I appreciate you guys joining me here, hanging out with me tonight. I'm going to call it here for tonight. I'll be back tomorrow around noon or 1 p.m. PST, where we'll continue on with our portfolio project here in React. I'm going to be starting up a new project here soon, a chemistry-related project. I have the idea already, and I'm kind of developing the kind of structure for it on paper. So I'm going to be building, last time we built a chromatography simulator. This time I'm going to be building, pardon me, a spectroscopy simulator. So if you guys know what spectroscopy is, it's kind of like, it takes in a factor of absorbance. So when you pass in a visible light source through a solution, you know, that light source will be absorbed somewhat, and then, you know, and it will be affected as the resulting source at the other end. So think about like this: if you shine a red light through a red glass stained window, that red light will transmit through fairly easily. Whereas if you transmit a green light source through a red window, then that green light will then be, you know, absorbed by the red window, and only a small amount of luminosity or intensity of that green light will be shown on the other side, or as the resulting, you know, vector light source. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to simulate this by providing known compounds, and then mathematically simulating the light travel at various wavelengths. So what you would do is you would have what's called a chromatometer, something like that. I can't remember. It's kind of like a prism, or some kind of prism, and what it does is it focuses the light source into a single wavelength. And then by rotating that prism or altering the chromatometer, if that's what it's called, you will change the wavelength that is concentrated and displayed. So if I project a light source across this prism and reflect it into my solution, right, it'll be reflected at a singular wavelength of like 250 nanometers. And then if I slightly rotate my prism or move it or alter it, the wavelength will then increase to 251, 252, 253, and then you can track, right, y values on the y-axis as intensities of those resulting light vectors on the other end of the solution, and then plot basically amplitudes, like, you know, peaks and troughs of, you know, specific intensity points. And so you'll see that you'll have like curves where high peaks or troughs is where you have high areas of transmittance, whereas and low ones is you have high areas of absorbance. So transmittance and absorbance have an inverse relationship, I believe, and that's what we're going to be plotting in our next project here once I complete this portfolio. So we're going to simulate developing those wavelengths versus absorbance graphs for various compounds, and then also allow the user to maybe put in their own custom data and generate them as well. So how does that sound, you guys? If you guys are interested in watching me code that, make sure you guys subscribe and stick around. Join my Discord link down below, where you can get access to all of my projects, such as the Small Business Manager and the chromaplot.com. They're all open source for you guys in my Discord. If you'd like to contribute to them, you can discuss them there. You can get access to all of my other resources, such as CS50 weekly updates for the courses I take, my personal notes, like I said, projects, and other resources like books and videos in my Discord. You know, we'll be back tomorrow to add on the project section of the portfolio page here. But I appreciate you guys being here and joining me. Thank you guys so much for hanging out, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye, guys. Should we raid somebody on Twitch? Let's see here. Let's give somebody a raid, huh?
Says have a good one.
Let's raid somebody here. Who do we want to raid? Browse. Software development.
Francisco says, oh.
Let's do. Anybody doing LeetCode? There I am. um. We'll rate here. S9TPEPPPER underscore. All right, we're rating. We rating. We're rating.
Hello bro, I am student EIT, my problem is English.
Where's chat here? How do you chat? There we go. Ooh. I like his camera, it's pretty crisp. All right. All right, you guys. Thanks so much for being here. I'll see you later. Bye, guys.